Good morning. It is Thursday, September 24th, 2020, and I'm here for Bed Talk number 133. As you can see behind me, I'm here today to talk about trust. And I've been giving a lot of thought to trust lately. In fact, had a podcast interview last week. It'll be coming out tomorrow, and then the second part will be coming out next Tuesday, with a gentleman by the name of Walt Rakowich. And in the first part of his podcast, here's what he said. If you have trust, you have everything. If you don't have trust, you have nothing. If you have trust, you have everything. If you don't have trust, you have nothing. That's a pretty significant statement, isn't it? All or nothing. And what I want to offer you today is the opportunity to pay attention to trust. See, what I've realized is that in our lives, we assume trust, when the truth is, many of us assume distrust. I happen to be what I think is a small percentage of people, relatively, who trust people until they prove they're not trustworthy. The other two categories are I distrust, or I'm neutral and you got to earn my trust. But then we got to define what trust is. You know, in the workplace, we generally say, do you trust your teammates? Of course you do. You say, well, I trust they won't steal my wallet or my purse. I trust they're not going to engage in some really blatant lying behind my back. But do I trust that they have my back? Do I trust that they care about me? Do I trust that they have my best interest at heart? And especially when it comes to leadership, do I trust leadership of my team, my organization, that they really care about me? And what I'm encouraging you to do today is to stop assuming trust. See, I think we're afraid to talk about trust because it seems harsh to think about trust. But the reality is, in order to build trust that creates great teams, great organizations, we have to be intentional and purposeful. I do leadership workshops. I've done them all over the world, literally, and I often break them into small groups, and I'll say, go spend a few minutes. I want you to make two lists. Make a list of all the things that build trust, and then make a list of all the things that break trust. I give them several minutes, and then I'll bring them back together and say, okay, but before we begin, I'll say, I want you to stand up if you started with the list of breaking trust. And typically, no matter how big the group is, 90 to 100% will say, we started with breaking trust. Because that's how we best understand trust, and the breaking of it, not the building of it. I've also found this, when you look at the list of things that break trust, it's not a super long list, but it's a much longer list than building trust, because the building trust list usually has two things on it. That's it. Do what you say you're going to do, and don't do all the things on the breaking trust list. Because the reality is, we break trust in small choices, decisions, moments, and we build trust over time. And I guess what I'm offering you is to pay attention to trust and the role it plays in our businesses, our teams, our relationships, our families, whatever it is, and to choose to be more intentional about trust. It's the big thing. Now, another episode, we'll have to do another episode to talk about some other elements of trust and how we build trust beyond the day-to-day. And there are some answers to that. I just want you to think about trust. And what does it take to build trust? And what does it mean for you tomorrow to be more intentional and purposeful about building trust? Not only in building trust so that people will trust you, but what does it look like for someone else to create a state of you trusting them? I guess the bottom line is, I want you to think about trust tomorrow and the days to come. So keep taking care of each other, and by all means, stay connected. And I will see you back here on Friday.